All right, welcome back to My Mom's Basement, ladies and gentlemen. It is Robbie Fox, and I am here with LØLØ, an artist that I've been a big fan of for a long time. Drove up from Asbury Park to the city this morning. I do appreciate you making the long drive for us. And the new single, American Zombie, out now. We got to talk about this. I want to know the inspiration behind the zombie theme.
Behind the zombie theme, well, I had an interesting encounter with someone that I very much admired and thought was really cool. And when I met them in real life, I was kind of like, oh, you know, it seemed a little bit like they were lifeless.
Oh no, don't be a hero's moment?
Yeah, a little bit. And so that was the inspiration behind it, I would say. I don't want to say too much else, honestly. Listen to the song. But yeah, and I wanted to write the song actually for years because it was years ago that this happened, but it was really hard for me to find the right words, and I feel like I really nailed it with this one, so I'm excited.
I love it. I think it's a great tune, and my band, we have a fake band here at Barstool.
Oh, sick.
We just dropped a song called Fell in Love with a Zombie.
No way.
So
we're on the same wavelength.
The sort of parallel thinking there, and I want someone to like mash them up at emo night.
I
Fell
hope
in
that
love
they do.
With an American Zombie.
Yes.
Something like that.
I love that.
I think it's a great song, though. I think
Thank you
it's
so
really
much.
cool. Production-wise, was there anything that went into this inspirationally where you're like, oh, let's have it sound a little bit like this, guitar tones like this?
Not really. I mean, for my next album, I've been wanting to move a little bit more to the like indie rock, you know, a little bit that way, in that direction. So just starting to go more with those kind of sounds because I feel like, I mean, people have classified me as pop punk, I guess, since I started, especially because my first tour was with Newfound Glory and Less Than Jake Hop Mulligan. So I was kind of like grouped into that. But I've never really thought that I was like pop punk. Personally,
how would you describe it?
I always describe myself as pop rock or pop with rock elements. Like, I find it funny when people like really call me like she's a punk, or like, you know, people on Reddit, she's not punk, and I'm like, I never said I was, and I don't think I am, by the way. But I think it's like, I don't think punk is really like, people are going to come at me for this, but I feel like it's more of an attitude than a genre.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that sometimes my lyrics are fucking punk, and but you know, but genre wise, if genre is a real thing, I am kind of trying to go towards more like the indie pop rock singer-songwriter-y kind of vibe for my next album.
I feel like that happens a lot, specifically in this like pop punk scene.
Yeah.
Where if you tour with pop punk artists, you're grouped in. Like I just had Grayscale in here.
Nice.
And we talked about it, and they were like, we kind of just consider ourselves like a rock band.
Yeah.
But because they're on the bill with like All Time Low a lot or a Mayday Parade a lot, they're just looped into like, you're a pop punker. And it is like a weird thing. I don't feel like it happens in other genres as much as it happens in pop punk.
Yeah, and then people get so mad about it. They're like, no, she's not a punker. Like, shut the fuck up.
I love talking to people about their origin stories and how they like started, started the band, started the rise to fame. On your Wikipedia page, it gives a lot of credit to TikTok.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Someone take that out. No, but
so
it's
I saw
true.
that. Was there like a specific TikTok that helped you blow up?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I was putting out music in Toronto, so like I'm sure nobody else knew about it for a year before that, and then it was the pandemic. And then I started doing those TikToks. I don't know if you remember, there was that like, hey there, Delilah trend where you would do it from the opposite point of view, from Delilah's point of view. And at the time I was just dancing on TikTok, getting like 200 views because I'm a terrible dancer, but it was just a fun thing. No one scroll back to those videos, please. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I could write this from the other point of view and make it really sad. And so I did that. And right away that video got 200,000 views instead of 200. And I was like, and at the time that was a lot. Like now it's like you get millions and stuff, but before people were on TikTok.
Before inflation.
Before inflation. And I was like, oh shit, maybe I should start doing, I could do this to a bunch of different songs and make it terribly depressing. And that's like kind of my favorite thing to do, is write sad songs. So I started doing that, and I would kind of like make the new lyrics rhyme perfectly and still have the same syllables and stuff as the original. So it just sounded very pleasing to the ear. And then those videos really started blowing up, specifically a Taylor Swift one. I guess I got put in some Taylor Swift Reddit and it just went like crazy. And after that, like they played, like I had some of my like point of view covers played on the radio, which was crazy.
Wow.
Just like the little snippet. Like I had the Taylor Swift one. Actually, I released a full version for Sirius XM, played it on Coffee House. Dan and Shay, I did a version of theirs, and it got played on country radio. I was like,
wow.
okay,
I love Dan
let's
and Shay.
go.
Great.
I love them. Yeah.
Especially they have like Rocket to the Moon origins, like pop punk origins.
Yes,
it's
they
crazy.
were they were in like a pop punk way. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, that kind of is where people started to know who I was, I guess. And I got signed to a publishing group called APG as a songwriter, because I guess they saw me flipping these songs, and because it was really cool because they got to showcase like my singing and also my songwriting.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got signed and got my first tour, and it kind of all snowballed from there. So I guess TikTok is to blame. Thank you, TikTok. I hate you, but I love you.
I feel like it's also like the flipped dynamic is showing off creativity right away in a way that maybe even like original songs wouldn't like catch the eye right away.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, this is a song that I know, but interesting that you're flipping it and stuff. Did people want you to do those covers live? Did you do those covers live at any point?
People, I don't think I ever did them live. Also, this was the time of like COVID, so luckily I wasn't touring at that time. Not luckily, I mean, I don't hate doing covers. Obviously, I'd rather do my originals, but I think I did do it on like live stream performances, but I never did it in my set, no.
Yeah. There was a few bands I remember from like back in the early 2010s that would go off on one cover that they did, and then every show the fans would like chant it, and they'd be like, oh, come on, man, we don't want to do the cover right now. I remember that became a thing for Before You Exit. Do you remember them?
No.
They were
I know. Yeah, I don't remember the cover, no, but I've heard of the band.
They did a cover of a Fray song, and people always wanted them to do the Fray, and they were like, we don't want to do the fucking Fray right now.
Damn.
Come on. And then I love the Wizard of Oz theme on the last album. What made you come to the Wizard of Oz theme, like aesthetically?
Yeah, so basically the first song that I wrote for the album was this song called You and the Tin Man, which is the last song on my album. And I don't know. The Wizard of Oz has always been like my favorite movie. I'm obsessed with Wicked. Like before I was in songwriting, my dream was to be Elphaba on Broadway.
That's funny.
So I've always just loved it. I think it's really like cool and special, and it makes me feel nostalgic. I used to like watch those movies as a kid and be like, I want to be an actress and a singer. So that was kind of the reasoning behind that. But so that made me write the song You and the Tin Man, and I just thought it was like a really clever song. And at the time, I wasn't even writing an album, but I just knew I didn't want to throw it on an EP and it be nothing. And I was kind of saving it. So when my album was coming out, I was like, this needs to be like the last song on the album. I don't know why. I just felt it. And then I was like, how sick would it be if I was like a punked out Dorothy?
Yeah.
And I then just when we thought of it and we shot the cover, and I was like, yes, this
and
is
even
a
the
vibe.
live show I saw you did the Yellow Brick Road and stuff. Like that was a cool way of just like kind of making everything feel like an era.
For sure. I like to like really bring like, especially for my headline, it's hard with a 30-minute set to do all of this, but so I at least like to bring a little bit of the set. But we have like my robot, we have like the background, which is just like, I kind of try to bring my album cover to life during the show, and just the whole album to life during the show. So makes it fun.
And you've gotten to tour with so many great bands already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What are the early I guess disaster stories? Every band has like shows gone wrong, or you get into an accident, or a tire flies off the van suddenly.
I've had so many. I remember on the Newfound Glory tour, that was my first tour ever, which I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but it was the most fun tour I've ever been a part of. And it almost like fell apart actually, because it was supposed to be Newfound Glory and Simple Plan and me, and then Simple Plan backed out last minute because COVID was starting to get bad again and they weren't comfortable. And so they replaced them with Hot Mulligan and Less Than Jake, like really quick. But on that tour, we actually had a tire blow off the van. And I had a tour where the first night of the show, I guess the wires got crossed and my vocals were coming through a guitar amp.
Oh no.
So I went off and I was just going, rah, 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 rah. And so that was fucked up. And then probably my worst like nightmare was during So What Fest a couple of years ago. It was so hot that like my laptop was blowing up. It was like melting. And this is the problem with not having a bass player, by the way. And I have it now. I always, putting a bass player in the tracks. Like this is like our karma from God. I always now have a bass player for big shows but it's hard because it's like, you know, touring on a budget. Everything is so expensive. I think people like don't realize how expensive it is. People are like, oh, you're making money on tour. And I'm like, no, I'm spending like thousands of dollars trying to make money one day. But we didn't have a bass player. We didn't bring him because it wasn't my budget. Put him in the tracks. The tracks start fucking, it gets hot. The bass track all of a sudden is like at a different time. I'm like, am I not hearing myself properly that I'm so off the beat? But then I'm realizing my drummer and my guitar player are off the beat, but different from each other. And I'm like, what is going on? I like then start trying to sing, and like the whole computer just like, it's my biggest song, You Turn Me On But You Give Me Depression. I'm about to sing it and the computer's just like bow, bow, bow. And
no.
I just remember I didn't know what to do. People started yelling, take off your shirt. And I did take off my shirt because I was so nervous. I had like a bra underneath.
Okay.
But I literally didn't know what to do. It was like one of those moments that you have nightmares about. And I ended up though singing an acoustic song, a couple, and the whole audience was like singing along with me. I think they felt bad.
Yeah.
But
sometimes that creates a moment.
yeah,
though.
but that day I had like the biggest line at merch for everyone to come meet me, and everyone.
Wow.
So it could be the shirt off, or it could be that just, you know, people like sometimes that when it's not perfect.
It was like a feel good, like a moment of community almost.
It was like, oh, she's real. She's
Yeah.
not like this perfect girl that everyone thinks she is. Just kidding. No one thinks that. But it was just like a nice moment. But that was my worst moment.
I just interviewed Ryan from Hot Mulligan, and he was telling us about like a disaster story.
I was
on
at that
tour.
show, and I remember the click was blaring.
Yes,
through,
and I was
they
like,
didn't know, and we were like, "Oh fuck!"
He said the bass track was also fucked on that.
So
it was like off time.
Literally, that. So this is the karma of putting bass in the tracks.
Yeah.
So that it happens, but yeah.
We got to play like one real festival, like our fake band, and we do a bunch of covers.
I'm sure it's a real band.
And, well, one of them was Good For You, which is a little like tricky to start live, I guess. And our singer just like looked back and was like, I don't remember the first word, like the lyrics, and I was already going on it, so I was like, oh. And it was the same thing. It felt she was like, guys, sorry, hold on, let's restart this. And when we restarted it, it felt like the crowd was 10 times more supportive. It was like they were there for us, which felt very cool.
Nothing like a good crowd.
Yeah. Did the Killers deny and like interpolation on this song? I remember you posting about this like a long time ago.
Yeah. So for Faceplant, I in the pre-chorus, it was originally going to be. It started out with a kiss. And we sent it to like, not to the Killers. You know, I doubt the Killers
like
heard
management
it.
Label
management label. And they actually said that they loved it, but they don't give permission to sample. And it wasn't just a me thing. It was like no one sampled that song.
Yeah.
And then I fact checked it, and it was true, because I was like, are they just saying this? But yeah, so it's true. So I ended up just changing the words, but I still do it live because
it's a good replacement though. Like on the studio version,
Yeah.
I think it's impressive how like smoothly it fits, knowing that wasn't the original lyric.
Yes, I did that. I remember in the car on the way to the studio, I found out that they denied it, and the song was coming out in like very soon, and I was like, okay, I have 1 hour to switch this, let's go record it. And I'm like, okay, how can I not copy them but it still fit in that exact, you know, kind of production? And yeah, I think we did it well. Honestly, I really like the replacement, but it is so much fun doing it live and having the whole crowd chant out, it was only a kiss, you know. So
that's great. I want you to rank these 5 Canadians for me.
Oh gosh. Okay? Oh my god. Okay.
Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
Michael Cera.
Okay.
Drake.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Avril Lavigne.
Oof. Okay. I guess I'd put Avril as 1 because huge inspo for me. And then I guess I would put Alanis Morissette because another huge inspo for me.
Love her.
And then I'd put Michael Cera because he's hilarious.
Legend.
Who else do we have? Keanu Reeves
and Drake.
And Drake. Oh shit, Drake.
You're a Toronto person.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm so... Yeah. Drake, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry for putting you fourth. I should have put Drake third. I'm going to put Drake third, Michael Cera, and then I'll put Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry, Keanu, nothing against you. It's just
legends on the list.
Just legends on the list.
I tried to stack it with Canadian legends.
Yeah, you did I
didn't know
good.
where you would land on Drake. Seems like he's polarizing now.
He is, but we have to love him. It's the 6. Yeah, no, we're at Toronto. You have to be on Drake's side, I guess.
Yeah. Hometown represent.
Nothing against Kendrick either. Honestly, I'm so bad at keeping up, and they're like, I'm just like, I don't know.
I think it's been pretty quiet on that front for a while.
It has been quiet, honestly. Yeah.
LOLØ lyrics can get pretty raunchy, obviously.
Yeah, I guess.
are there lyrics that come to mind that you are So like you've suggested in the studio have been like, we got to pull that one back?
So, well, actually, before I wrote my biggest song, You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression, I remember I walked into the studio that day and I was like, hear me out. I want to write a song called You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression. And I remember the co-writer, it was the first time working with the producer who's now ended up producing my whole album. But they were like, that's kind of a tough one, Lolo. They're like, we don't know if people are going to relate to this feeling. It's very specific. And I was like, trust me. I was like, people will relate. I feel it all the time. And they reluctantly wrote the song with me. And then it ended up being my best streaming song. And so now the writer to the other writer to this day always texts me being like, remember when I had that amazing idea, You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression, and you thought no one would relate? And just as a joke. And I'm just like, fuck you, man. But yeah, so that song almost didn't come to be because, but I'm happy that I stood up for myself.
Of course, yeah. Was that like, how instantly was that like an I told you so moment?
Like right away.
Yeah.
It was like right away. It streamed really well. But I it's funny because I guess I write with a lot of guys, and the way I write, my process is kind of like I'll come in with like a chorus or a verse at least and like kind of ready to go, rather than like, I know a lot of times people are like sitting collaborating from the very get-go, being like, let's riff on melodies. Or I kind of come in with like part of the song already ready, being like, this is what I want to do. And I guess I write with a lot of guys. Just more recently, I have another song, I'll give you some tea, that's going to be coming out in October called Me With No Shirt On. And I was like, I want to write this song called Me With No Shirt On. It's just two guys. And they were like, let's do it. And they're such good sports, but it's just funny, the titles sometimes.
Do you work with the same group of songwriters usually, or do you like branch out constantly?
Yeah, I get comfortable with people and then I kind of like work with them for like an era. So, for this next album coming up, I actually started working with some new people, some old people kind of mixed together. But the last album was like a lot of just like, the four or three in the same room. But yeah.
Is the next album completely done?
No, God, no.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be finishing it on this tour. And it's really hard because I feel like on tour it's just so mentally draining. And I have a lot of ideas, but nothing finished for some songs, but then some songs are completely done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a process. I would say we're halfway there.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
People are dragging you away to do interviews and stuff on tour.
Yeah.
What is the most difficult part of being a rising star in the music scene right now? You referenced that you got to spend a lot of money. It's like right now, it's obviously a grind.
Yeah.
What do you find the most difficult aspect to be?
I think just comparing yourself to other rising stars, and being like, oh, they got this, they did that. And I'm sure that they're looking at me and saying the same thing about the opportunities that I get. And it's just hard because I think no matter how high you're getting, there's always someone higher up that you're comparing yourself to. And that is like the worst part of it, is comparing yourself. And I always try to tell myself, don't compare. They're on their own path and I'm on my own path. But it's just hard. And sometimes it gets disheartening because like, I'm sure along with everyone else, you work so fucking hard and then it's so expensive and you do all this stuff and you do the show and you feel like on top of the world and you're on stage and people are singing and you feel so high. And then you get off stage and you're like alone in your tour bus and you're like, why am I doing this again? Sometimes. And then it's like, so there's so many highs and so many lows.
Yeah.
So I would say that is the hardest part of being a rising star, but it's probably also the hardest part and just in general about being, I don't know if that ever goes away unless you're Taylor Swift and you're literally breaking every record ever and you're just breaking your own records at this point. But yeah.
Do you feel a major like post-tour come down as well?
Oh my God. Yeah. Cause it's like post-tour, I'm still living with mom and dad. They're yelling at me. My siblings are yelling. I'm like no one gives a shit about me. I have to clean my room. I have to do my fucking laundry. So that is definitely a fall from grace when
Seems
when
great
you were
basis for songwriting right
I know.
there.
You know, it's in my idea. It's in my idea sheet. But yeah, it's definitely post-tour depression because like, you go from like everyone screaming your name and wanting to talk to you and telling you that like your music changed my life and all this stuff to like, okay, go, like, you better fucking clean your room.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, thanks, Mom.
And what's the best way someone can support like a rising artist? Is it buying merch? Is it just coming to the shows?
Yeah.
Obviously streaming is like important, but it's not like you're seeing like, oh, someone streamed a song, there's $100.
I would say coming to the shows for sure and buying the merch, but just showing up and like sending your song to your sending my song to your friends and
making TikToks to the music, stuff like that, right?
Everything counts. Obviously showing up to the show is the best part. Like I just did my first headline tour in Europe, UK, and the US over this past year. And I was so fucking nervous because I've been an opener so many times and I've never done my own show and had the pressure of doing that. And it was just so nice that like all the shows just immediately sold out. And it was just like a sold out tour besides like 2 shows. So we'll just call it a sold out show,
it's sold
tour.
Out. That's sold out.
That's sold out. Come on.
Yeah, you're basically there.
And it was just so nice that happened, and kind of just like a pat on the back to keep going. Because I think
seeing
if it
people
didn't
sing your
happen,
lyrics back to you halfway across the world, right?
Yeah, and like being an opener, like normally the people in the front know you, but like most people are there for obviously the main act. So it was just really cool to have my own room of everyone screaming, and I was like, whoa, this feels
they're there for you, and only you.
And I'm just like, wait, what? I'm always like, I have such bad imposter syndrome, so bad. I'm always like, well, this isn't a real concert because it's mine. I go to real concerts as a fan, but this isn't a real one. And then I remember, wait, no, it is a real one.
Yeah,
that's weird.
It's just sold out on the marquee. That's pretty real.
Weird. Yeah.
So. I have a rapid fire segment.
Let's go.
That I've been playing with a lot of people. So the strongest vocal performance you've ever seen live?
Oof. Honestly, Hot Mulligan.
Honestly, a good answer. When I asked Ryan from Hot Mulligan, he was like, can I say Tades from Hot Mulligan?
Yeah, Tades is amazing. It's crazy what he does.
The funniest musician you've ever met?
Can I say Tades again? No. Funniest musician. Oh, definitely Sean and Nat from 303. They're so fun.
That's a good answer.
They're so funny.
I haven't interviewed them. I would love to.
Oh my God. The funniest people I've ever met.
Another band that I feel like gets lumped in with pop punk because they came up on the Warped Tour scene and everything.
Yeah.
Or you listen to their music, you're like, some of it is kind of pop punk, but a lot of it isn't.
Yeah.
It's like an alternative thing.
Totally.
The craziest crowd you've ever been in or seen live?
Probably a Green Day crowd. Or
Green Day's your number one, right?
That's my number one. That's my favorite show I've ever seen.
I know, right behind you, we've got the Dookie
Or,
flag,
you know what, I would also say my London show that I just recently did in November, the crowd was so fucking crazy, and we had to upgrade the venue twice because it kept selling out.
Awesome.
And I remember the promoter came upstairs and was like, or maybe the person working at the venue, I forgot who it was. I think it was the promoter. And she was like, I was going to come for like the last few songs, but I heard so much screaming. I actually thought that something was wrong.
Wow.
And I came up and I was like, holy shit, that's the loudest show we've ever had. And so I felt really good about that. Yeah.
The tightest band you've ever seen
Green
live?
Day.
Yeah.
I was like shocked when I saw Green Day. I was like, oh yeah, they're a band.
Did you see him on this tour where they did Dookie and American Idiot both?
I did.
Oh my God.
And not only that, but in LA, I guess they were doing a practice show.
Oh, you went to that?
Oh yeah. At
Holy
the
shit.
Echo.
Yeah.
Or Echoplex. I always get them confused, but like 500
they did
people.
a bunch of deep cuts at that show, right?
Did
they do the tour?
They did the tour,
Gotcha.
but just without all of the the
inflatables.
Which the inflatables were so fucking sick.
Awesome,
I saw that in the Toronto stadium, and it was so cool. But they just did. I guess they were like practicing their set list or whatever. And it's funny because don't even ask me how I got tickets to the show. I messaged every A&R I knew, and I somehow got a ticket buy for the show. And then, so there was a bunch of industry people there that I knew, and they were like, come stand with us in the back. I was like, are you fucking kidding? I was front row, in the pit with all these other fans. And then someone was like, are you LØLØ? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, fuck yeah. I was dancing with the fans, sweating. And all my friends were like, we didn't see you. We were in the back. I was like, I was in the front of it.
I was in the pit.
Throwing up in the mosh pit. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love Green Day. They're one of my all-time favorites as well.
Love that.
And then your bucket list dream concert, a concert you haven't seen that you would like to.
Honestly, I've seen a lot of my dream concerts. I would say the top 3, can I give 3 answers? Oasis, Paramore, and My Chem. I have not seen them yet.
Paramore, My Chem.
Oh my God, and I'm dying to. But I've seen a lot of my favorite bands, and I've met all of my idols, which is crazy. Everyone that I've grown up loving, I've met them.
Including Green Day?
Oh yeah.
Majorly starstruck?
Yeah.
no?
Well, I tried. So basically, the story of this is they were at a hotel. I guess they were in for who knows what. And one of my producers on my first EP ever happened to be staying at that hotel. And I was at like this karaoke party far away. And he messaged me Green Day at hotel. And I was like, address. And I remember I didn't even tell my friends I was leaving. I was at my friend's birthday. I called an Uber black SUV, fastest thing. I don't even care how much money. I got to the hotel in like 6 minutes. The producer was like, what the fuck? I walk in, see my friend that like used to manage them or A&R them or something. He's like, LØLØ, like, oh my God, Green Day's here, because he knew how much I love them. I was like, what? No way. And he's like, let me introduce you. I was like, okay. So I end up, it was just Billy and Mike, but like, holy fuck, I met them and I was like, I know this is LA and we're not supposed to do this, but I have to tell you that like, you are my biggest inspiration, the reason that I do music, all this stuff. And I ended up hanging out with them the whole night, like having a wild night with Green Day.
Wow.
And, but I remember after I met them, I went to the bathroom and I sobbed. And then I pulled myself together, went like this, and I was like, looked in the mirror, and you were going to be cool now, and you were going to be their friend.
Yep.
And it worked, but I did definitely fucking freak out. I have a video my producer took of me crying in the bathroom, and we were dying of laughter. But then I was cool, so they have no idea that I ever cried. Yeah. And I know they're not going to listen to this.
I was going to say, yeah.
They don't listen to interviews. He won't even listen to his own interviews, so I know that he won't hear this. So
yeah, was that the all-time like starstruck moment for you?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really get starstruck from musicians, I guess, because I'm a musician, but seeing him, it wasn't that I was starstruck. I just like was so like elated that I had to bawl my eyes out. But so that was probably, yeah. I mean, I meet musicians all the time and it's like, it's very exciting, but I feel like I get starstruck with actors. Like I met Tobey Maguire, like Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God, Spider-Man. Holy shit. But yeah.
Do you live in LA?
I live in LA half the time.
Gotcha.
I live like I'm from Toronto.
All of these actors.
That's where, yeah. Not in Toronto.
Makes
no,
sense,
we don't see anyone in Toronto besides Drake.
yeah. Drake's hanging around.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Oasis, I'm a huge Oasis fan. So the last interview, I ask all of my guests and artists on the show. Noel Gallagher once said he summed up everything he ever wanted to say with 3 songs: Live Forever, Rock and Roll Star, and Cigarettes and Alcohol. He says after
like
that, I'm just repeating myself in different songs. So if you had to pick 3 of your songs that sum up everything you've ever wanted to say, which 3 would you select?
You turn me on, but you give me depression. I wish I was a robot. What would be the 3rd one? Maybe Hot Girls in Hell.
3 good options.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like all 3. And then the tour is still going on right now, right? Is it tonight?
Yes.
The show is.
The show is tonight. I'm going straight to sound check after this.
So you've got a show in Asbury Park, Simple Plan tonight. Kind of full circle because Simple Plan was supposed to be on that. I know you have played with them.
Yeah,
before,
no,
though,
no,
right?
I had. Well, okay, so no, that was going to be my first tour ever, which it ended up happening obviously without them, as I said. But I was literally bedridden, depressed when they pulled off the tour because I grew up like loving Simple Plan as a Canadian too. Newfound Glory was a bit above my like age time, like so I knew who they were, but I wasn't like madly obsessed with them like I was with Simple Plan. Now I am, of course. Fucking love Newfound Glory. But when I found out Simple Plan was off the tour, I was like in bed, couldn't move, couldn't eat. My mom was like, don't worry, Lauren, you'll tour with them again. I was like, no, Mom, that's not how it works. This is my one opportunity. So I'm so happy that it finally happened. I've sung with them before.
Okay.
Because we've been at festivals before, and I'm sure they just felt bad for me that they pulled off the tour because I knew how excited I was. So I've sung with them before, but never toured with them. And now I get to, so it's a full circle moment.
Do you feel more or less pressure being brought up for a guest spot like that? I've seen you sing with All Time Low at Merriweather and Simple
so much
Plan
fun.
And stuff like that. Do you like get nervous for that, or is that just fun?
No, I totally get nervous for that. Now it's fun because it's been so many times, but I find that sometimes, especially when I'm singing, like I've sung I'm Just a Kid with Simple Plan before, and I've felt like, why is this bitch singing? We want Pierre to sing. This is our favorite song. So I actually don't even like doing guest spots when like I'm singing something that the artist is supposed to be singing, but I do like it when it's the girl part because it's like, They weren't going to sing it anyways. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure because everyone knows how this goes. Everyone's used to the other voice singing it. So like when I'm going to come up and sing it, I'm like, okay, well, I can't forget the words, like all these things. And also the band's listening to me on their ears. Like they're going to hear every imperfection. But sometimes like the first 10 times probably singing with Simple Plan, I just like blacked out, didn't remember a thing because I was too nervous. But now I enjoy it.
Now does it feel like it's like Guitar Hero almost? That's what I say about playing covers live. I'm like, it kind of feels like I'm like in the Guitar Hero animation where it's like, this is crazy. There's a crowd going wild. Yeah. And I'm not doing my own song. I'm doing someone else's song.
It's so much fun doing it. The first time I ever did it was with Newfound Glory, actually. I sung Haley's part in Vicious Love.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that tour. That was really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm used to it now.
Look out for tour dates on the description. I'll put everything in the description.
Amazing. Yes,
American
please.
Zombie as well. Stream it. Go to the live shows. Buy the merch. Support rising artists.
Please do.